Hi, this is Nicole Lasky. I'm currently the fifth grade teacher at Insight, Pennsylvania, and this is my induction portfolio. So to start off, I just want to look at some instructional progress I've made through this past school year. Since this was my first year teaching cyber school, I really had a lot of room to grow as far as teaching in an online environment. So some of the most important things that I looked at were increasing student engagement with interactive lessons, using supplemental materials to enhance learning, specifically for my tier 2 and 3 students, but for all students. Some of the resources I used to do that were IXL Learning, Raz Plus, Spelling City, Epic Books, Storyline Online, just to name a few. These things were great and really gave me a lot of flexibility when reaching the different levels of the students. Some of the other supplemental materials that I used that were used for more of formative assessment kinds of things were Quizzes, Kahoot, Formative, Spelling City again, and these all gave me a nice way to do a quick check to see if my students were getting the material or not. I also used a lot of the data that I gathered from Quizzes, Kahoot, Informative to guide my instruction. So as we were coming into class, I oftentimes would have the students do a quick little quiz or play a quick little game that I could get some data from, and that would help me decide, should we continue and move forward, or do we need to kind of go back and review a little bit of what we had already done maybe the previous day or the previous week before we moved on. I had lots of proud moments this year, but I have to say that the just kind of loving and open nature of my students probably is one of my most prideful experiences this year. So we have an influx of students coming in and out of the class quite often. And every time we have new students join our class, I always give the kids the first 5 minutes or so of a class session to welcome those new students and let them know what they can expect with our class and things of that nature. And the students were always so excited and so welcoming to our new friends. They would love to come in the chat and tell them how much they love our class and the things that we do. So it's always wonderful to hear the students talk positively about our class, but more importantly, be open and welcoming to those new students who might be a little bit anxious or nervous about starting in a new school environment. So that's really cool. One of the other things that really make me proud are whenever I say activity or game, the kids get so excited. My chat box ends up flooded with excited chatter about what game are we going to play or what are we going to do. So being able to incorporate those interactive learning games has been really cool. Next, I have some data. So my BBC attendance has consistently been above the 70% mark all year, which is really exciting. We have a lot of participation in those, which makes it a lot of fun. And then the other thing down here, kind of towards the bottom, these graphs are showing that the students in my below basic range is continually decreasing. So that shows that those tier 3 students and even some learning support students who are really struggling at first are starting to move out of that range and up into the basic and maybe even proficient range. So that's always really exciting to see as well. This is some data about IXL. So IXL is a program that the students, the tier 2 and 3 students, have been using to help develop their math and language arts skills. So these are just some little snapshots from February to April to show how much time the students have put in and how much practice in each category they've completed, which is nice at a glance. And then over here are just some certificates of achievement. The students really love to see those too. So we've gotten lots of certificates, and that's always a nice way to kind of prove to the students that what they're doing is working and showing improvement. As far as professionalism, I've participated in a lot of teamwork and collaboration. I've included here just a couple of hump day, bump days that I've either given shout outs from me or that I've received, which is always really nice. I've also participated in lots of surveys put out by the administration and guidance department and things At the bottom of the screen is a really nice tips for success for new students that Jackie Snyder made for our incoming students. And as you can see in the yellow circle, I participated in that and gave some feedback to help with that. I've also been able to reach out into our Insight community a little bit. I led 2 information sessions for prospective families in the Pittsburgh area. I attended the Ugly Sweater ice skating party and got to ice skate with this and a bunch of other little cuties, which was a lot of fun. And right now I am helping Sally by hosting our summer picnic in just a couple of weeks, which is going to be a lot of fun and really looking forward to it. As far as professional growth, I have found that working with my instructional coach, Casey, has probably been one of the most beneficial resources that I have had access to this year. We obviously have a ton of resources at our fingertips, but having somebody who's been in the trenches, who kind of has an open mind and their own personal reflections on how lessons have gone to kind of give me their input has been really nice. My favorite thing ever to get in my email is the monthly instructional coaching newsletter. There's always lots of really great ideas in there. And I find myself quite often finding little snippets of things and practicing them. And here on this slide is just a snippet of something that I had found in April's coaching newsletter, and then an email that I sent to my instructional coach about a month and a half ago, just about practicing using this strategy with one of my coworkers. So I really like to kind of dig in and use all of those suggestions that they share in those. It's a great resource. The other thing that I really have had a lot of success with, I would say, is the Problems of Practice monthly meetings. They've all been absolutely wonderful, but 2 that kind of stuck out were the most recent one, teacher knowledge of students, and then one from way towards the beginning of the year, the standards and objectives training. Those both just really spoke to me and helped to justify a lot of the things I'm doing, and also helped me kind of look at things from another perspective and find some new ways to gain knowledge of my students and find some new ways to set up my standards and my goals for my classes to make those things a little bit more meaningful sometimes. And then kind of coming to a close here, these are some goals from the very beginning of the year. And again, not knowing what I know now, my goals are really pretty broad from the beginning of the year, but here's kind of what I was thinking towards the end of October when I began at Insight. My goals were to have meaningful relationships with the students and their families, use knowledge of students' interests throughout the lessons to keep them engaged, create a safe, fun, and energetic learning space within my classroom, use formative assessment to ensure that the students are growing each day, and form positive professional relationships with my colleagues. And I feel that I was able to do all of those things, so I am really pretty proud of that and excited. I'm excited to set forth some more goals for next year. And then last is my self-evaluation. So here are some things that I've learned or accomplished this year. I've learned that even students in the cyber world respond well to bribery and incentive. So we've used lots of recess sessions as a reward for coming to class and participating. We also created a class photo. We did a little collaboration so the students could start to put a face with the name of these friends that they were making and people they were working with each day. I found that using outside resources were incredible. So it provided lots and lots of additional opportunities for remediation and enrichment for my students. Tools such as Reader's Theater increased participation greatly. It's something that I used often in brick and mortar and didn't kind of realize until recently that it was going to be such a hit with my cyber students too. They absolutely love it. I've been able to hear voices since we started using the Reader's Theater that I haven't heard all year, so that's been great. Let's see here. Engagement and participation can be challenging, but it's not impossible. So, lots of different resources that we've learned about in the trainings and different problems of practices and whatnot, such as using the polling tools, waterfall, and all of those fun tools. And last, communication with learning coaches regularly has become much easier throughout the year. So, when I first came in, it was a little bit of a struggle at first just because I came in after they had already developed a relationship with another teacher. But as the year went along, I was able to really build some nice relationships with them, and we became a really nice cohesive team. So it's been very nice. And that is all. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up with one of my favorite quotes. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, by Nelson Mandela. So that is all. Thank you very much.